Hello and welcome to Hollywood Headlines. I'm your host, Sanai Browning, and tonight we're going to be talking about the latest news in Hollywood, starting with the announcement of People Magazine's 2023 Sexiest Man Alive. Hollywood Headlines starts right now. Before we get into the show, I would like to take a moment to thank Sydney Sheffo for being today's guest today. This past Tuesday, Patrick Dempsey was named People's 2023 Sexiest Man Alive. At age 58, Dempsey has become a household name, appearing on televisions across the nation as neurosurgeon Derek Shepherd on ABC's Grey's Anatomy, and in movies such as Enchanted, Ferrari, Valentine's Day, and many more. Dempsey reportedly told People, quote, "I was completely shocked, and then I started laughing. Like, this is a joke, right?" End quote. Alongside Dempsey, also featured in the issue are Pedro Pascal, Timothée Chalamet, Usher, Jamie Foxx, Lenny Kravitz, and Jason Kelce. Sydney, what were your thoughts on this year's Sexiest Man Alive?
I think we all know what I'm gonna say. I love Patrick Dempsey. Come on, man. I watched Grey's Anatomy, like I'm an avid fan, you know?
Okay.
But Patrick Dempsey was always my pick. I was always like, Derek's got a little something, you know? So when I found out he won, I was lucky a little surprised because everyone wanted Pedro Pascal to win, which makes sense because he was like, in my opinion, more relevant this year.
Yeah.
I know, like, it was weird. I saw someone on Twitter was like, I've never heard of Patrick Dempsey before, and it threw me off because they were like, I've only heard of him because of like the Addison Rae movie coming out, like the slasher one.
That's the first thing you think of?
That's what they said, and I was like, I was confused because he's been, it's kind of like how, I don't know a few like celebrities that are more known in other like movies and sequels I've never watched.
Yeah.
But it's like to hear that like he was heard of through like a TikTok star movie. It kind of threw me off a little, but I believe he deserved it. I love him.
I can agree with that. I'm personally, and this is something that I don't think I'm going to get heat for, but I'm throwing out this opinion. I think Jason Kelce should have been 2023 Sexiest Man Alive. I think he should have been because, I mean, come on. He's like the complete like dad package. Like, I don't, like, come on. Like, you understand. Like, I mean, I think I do agree that Patrick Dempsey like would at least be in like the top 3 because like he's McDreamy. Come on, but like I feel like at least to have Jason Kelce be like the honorable mention would have at least been fine. But I mean, there's
runner up.
At least like runner up. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. But like I feel like at least the people that were chosen this year were pretty good. But who do you think you would want to have seen that wasn't Patrick Dempsey?
Are we serious? Like, I don't know. I like him that much. Like,
wow, you really would like to keep him there. You would really like to keep him there.
Yo, he was confident in his thing. He was like, oh yeah, there's not gonna be another one for like the next 10 years or something.
Okay.
He was like, oh, yeah, mine will date till like 2033. And I was like, okay, he's confident.
I mean, confidence is a killer, I guess. We'll go with that. We're saying yes, chef, to a new season of The Bear. FX and Hulu have just ordered up the 3rd season of the hit show. The Bear, led by actors Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri, follows an award-winning chef who returns to his well-loved but chaotic family-owned restaurant in Chicago. Carmi, played by Allen, and his sous chef Sid, played by Edebiri, attempt to bring the run-down restaurant up to a Michelin-rated and renowned establishment. Season 3 will pick up with Carmi and Sid continuing their mission while further developing the side plots and side characters. The Bear has had early series success with the first season winning 13 Emmy Awards. We can't wait to see what the creators have been cooking up. Sid, have you watched The Bear? And if not, will you be catching up before this new season?
So originally I was going to watch it. I just haven't had the time. So like originally when it first started coming out, I was gonna watch it, but then like I remember I was like in my living room and I mentioned it. I was like, I really want to like figure it out and watch it. But then my twin sister was like, it's not worth it. And she wouldn't let me watch it.
What?
So I'm definitely going to try and watch it before a Fallout comes out. But I forget his name, the main actor.
Oh, Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, I noticed that he had like a photo shoot that just came out, and everyone was like, it looks like he's in a Troye Sivan music video because of how it was framed. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, like I can see where the hype is. So I'm like, I definitely want to like follow up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched season 1. I think it was a really great season, at least to me. I think it was very, like, it sort of gives off the best of, like, you know, Hell's Kitchen and those sorts of shows where you have to be, like, in those sort of high-stakes environments. It gives that, but more like an actual, like, dramatic scripted series sort of thing. And I think that it really works for that type of show. I do think that season 3 is definitely going to be good with the hype that's currently around it, and especially is going to get more stuff because of the strike. So, especially now that the strike is over, which is great. I'm not sure if we're ever going to get a chance to talk about that later, but I'm glad that the strike is finally over because we'll get the chance to finally talk about more stuff. So, is there any other season premieres that you're excited for?
If I'm being honest, I really I feel like I'm not up to date because when I heard about that slasher movie, I was like, I've never heard of it before seeing it on Twitter or X. But because it's I remember I wanted to watch Blue Beetle a while ago, and I feel like ever since then I haven't really been up to date on what new movies are coming out besides that one it's not like a documentary, but the film that just came out from Priscilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting to see, but only time will tell on what's going on. So when we come back from the break, we will be talking about the passing of the beloved actor Matthew Perry. Hollywood Headlines, we'll be right back. This past week, the world lost a true friend. Around 4 p.m. on October 28th of 2023, former Friends star Matthew Perry was found deceased. This American-Canadian actor and Emmy Award nominee was only 54 years old, found dead in the hot tub of his Pacific Palisades home. According to CNN Entertainment, a final call on the cause of death is still being determined. An autopsy has been completed, but examiners are still awaiting a toxicology report to determine if there was any unknown substances used at the time of death. Until then, the cause of death is deferred. Law enforcement told CNN that, quote, no foul play is suspected, end quote. Sydney, were you a big Matthew Perry fan?
So no, I wasn't a big fan. My twin sister Sam is though. She's watched the Friends series since I think we were in middle school. So I know she was really devoted to that whole entire fan base culture. I feel weird talking on him because even though I don't watch his series or anything else he starred in, I at least read about it because it's of course it's a very big impact on entertainment. But I remember specifically he said when I pass, I don't want to be known just for Friends. He wants to be known for his other works, and I just feel so bad that I'm not up to date in regards to everything he's done.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I wasn't a big Friends person around the time that everyone was really getting into the hype of it. I did eventually watch it, and I did even in my main thing, I won't say that Friends is my favorite show ever, but the main highlight of the show for me was Chandler. And I feel at least for me, it's sad to see someone that was the core comedy of the show leave. It's just a big thing, especially for the fan base. But how do you think this loss will probably impact the acting world, entertainment world, or maybe even more Friends news that's coming forward?
I feel it's gonna be hard for them if they want to do a reboot. I don't feel they're gonna do a reboot, but if they were to do a spin-off, because I know when I was scrolling on X, I know a lot of people were talking about how sad it was that it was a picture and it was this is the last ever picture of the
all
whole
of them
cast
together. Yeah.
And they were this will be the last one they will ever have. And it's I remember seeing pictures from I think it was the funeral, and it was just you can see how it impacted not only the fan base, but celebrities in general who were within his social circle and who even weren't as close to him. And I just think I hope his legacy is carried on somehow. I don't know how it will be carried on, but at least it can be used for good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that comedic timing is very, very hard to like replace. You cannot really be able to replace timing like that. And I don't think it's going to be very easy to do, but only time will tell on what happens with him. So when we come back from the break, we will be talking about the Barbenheimer movie. Hollywood Headlines will be right back. Greta Gerwig's Barbie and Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer released on the same day, July 21st. Barbenheimer was a big thing in Hollywood for a while, and it's making a return. This movie is set to be a combination of the plots from both movies. B-movie icon Charles Band is set to make the film. The plot follows a scientist doll named Dr. Bambi J. Barbenheimer, living in the doll-town Dolltopia. She is bothered by how humans treat the dolls, so she goes on a mission to explode the real world with a giant nuclear bomb. The synopsis of Barbenheimer states, quote, "They had great looks and a super attitude. Oh, and now they've got the bomb," end quote. Charles stated that he's cashing in on the Barbie-Oppenheimer clash and mentioned, quote, "It seems like every other feature is dark and depressing, and it's like, God, we need a little humor going into 2024, end quote. Sydney, what do you think about this movie?
I don't know what is meant by super attitude because I know how he was like, oh yeah, like everything's been depressing, but
which
like,
I mean true, but like
that's literally just like if you took an atomic bomb, put glitter in it. That's what this sounds like. So
I don't know what I don't know what this means. I think this is honestly gonna flop though, because I don't know what any of this means. Like, you have this doll who's a scientist, which I mean makes sense because it's Barbie, but like still, I don't get it. Like, I really do not get it. I understand cashing in on the whole Barbie Oppenheimer thing. I get it, but like, if you're gonna do it, makes sense, please. I don't know other ways to say it. I really don't. Any final thoughts on this?
I don't know. I just feel like it sounds like when like TV series do random like crossover moments that don't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Which I mean, technically it's supposed to make sense because like it was a marketing thing for both of them together to be like Barbenheimer. But,
yeah, because I feel like other shows did the same, like other movies did the same thing. Like when Saw X and Paw Patrol for some reason came out on the same day, people were doing the same thing and saying it was Saw Patrol. Yes, I remember that being a thing on Twitter. Yep, or X, whatever.
Or X. No, why would you cross those two over? Like, this is what it sounds
Ask
like.
The internet, man. I don't know.
They tried to like make it seem like artsy when they were like, yeah, there's just so much dark stuff in the world, man.
Let's make humor. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. It's like you're like basically like painting an atomic bomb is like pink.
Yeah, pink with glitter on it. Yep.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
I don't get it either. Anyway, the new inductees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have been announced. Many viewers were ecstatic as they found out who had been inducted. Among the inductees were Kate Bush, The Spinners, Missy Elliott, Chaka Khan, George Michael, and many more. There were also inductees that were given awards. DJ Kool Herc, one of the founders of hip-hop, was given the Musical Influence Award. Chaka Khan was also given a Musical Excellence Award. We could not be more happy for the inductees this year, and the anticipation is rising to see who will be inducted next year. Sydney, how do you feel about the new inductees?
I mean, I feel like it's like well-deserved, you know, like Kate Bush. I know her for Babushka, so that's a song that me and my dad like to sing a lot together.
Wait, hold on. You mean to tell me that you know her from Babushka and not from one thing in particular?
I have like selective memory sometimes, so I'm not even playing. I was like, who do I remember this from? And then I realized
every single Stranger Things fan is gonna be looking at you crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that right now.
I've never watched Stranger Things.
Get out. Get out.
Everyone in my family did, but I did. But
oh my God.
No, I feel like it's well deserved for the ones who were selected because like most of them were renowned for what they've done, especially because even I've heard songs from all of them, so it makes sense, especially like the Influence Award.
Yeah.
Like, he literally made hip-hop.
Yeah, I think especially DJ Kool Herc was a big thing, especially with the 50th anniversary of hip-hop being this past August of this year. And also, Shaka Khan getting the Musical Excellence Award was something that I was not expecting, but definitely well deserved. I mean, she is one of the biggest staples in R&B, and also the Spinners getting a being inducted was something that I wasn't expecting, because as a Philadelphian, they were one of the biggest contributors to Philadelphia soul, which is something that most people don't really even know about or talked about. But do you think that someone else should have been nominated instead, and or who do you think should be nominated next year?
I mean, I don't feel like it would be swapped out, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, it's definitely well-deserved. Like I said, like, they've done their work within their, like, industry and within their fields. So I feel like swapping them out for someone else would just be kind of, like, disrespectful. Personally, in regards to, like, nominating somebody, I'm not sure if they're in yet, but, like, Hall & Oates, they're really good.
That's a good one. I think that's also fair. I think I talked about this last year when we talked about the inductees from last year, but I honestly think that the Migos could possibly be put in a couple of years, especially with Takeoff passing away last November. I think it's only fair to at least give him an honorary spot along with his group of Migos, or just giving him the honorary spot by himself, because I think the impact that he has had on hip-hop, especially during his lifetime, I think is at least recognizable to me.
You know, them as a group was like, they had like a different take on everything. Even like, as someone who doesn't listen to rap that much, I've heard their songs and I've like also had them like in my playlist. So it would definitely be like well deserved for them to get a spot.
I absolutely agree. I think it's just really a matter of time to see if they ever get inducted, because it can happen. Well, that's all the time that we have for tonight, but make sure to come back next week for the latest news in Hollywood. A big thank you to Sydney Sheffield for coming to today's show. I'm Sinai Browning. Have a great week in Millersville.